Hello and welcome to another edition of Overcoming Illness. I am your host, Paula Denoncourt, founder and CEO of Enrich Your Health. I help my clients stop living a life of pain and suffering. I do that through helping them with their diet and lifestyle. I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, speaking engagements. I've been working feverishly on new recipes, so make sure you're following me on social media under my name, Paula Denoncourt, on Facebook, Instagram, a little bit on LinkedIn, and TikTok. So make sure you're following me there. If you are looking for recipes, maybe you have joint pain, food allergies, food sensitivities, these are the kind of recipes I'm putting together. So they're all like allergen friendly, I'll just say that. So they're dairy-free, gluten-free, nut-free, that type of thing. I suffered myself from multiple food allergies and almost died from them. So that was one of the things that was missing, is getting simple, budget-friendly recipes for myself. So you're going to want to check that out on my social media pages. You can just look there and find those there. You can reach me by contacting me at 508-330-9665, or you can get me on Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger, or my email is info@enrichyourhealth.com, and that's with a UR, so it's ENRICHURHEALTH.com. And I decided to do this show because there's so many people out there suffering from different illnesses like cancer, autoimmune illnesses like Lyme disease, heart disease, so many different illnesses out there. People's stories need to get out there, and other people need to hear their stories so they have hope, encouragement. They know how to pray, how to look to God to help them with their illnesses. So we talk about all of these things on this show. So if you haven't seen the show, please go back and watch some of the replays. I've had some amazing guests, from people that were deaf to autism to mold toxicity, heart failure, cancer, and so much more. So I am looking for more guests for the show. So if you've overcome an illness, you're going through an illness, you maybe you're a spouse, a parent, an apostle, a practitioner, sky's the limit with that. Please reach out to me once again, Instagram Messenger, Facebook, my phone number, 508-330-9665, or info@enrichyourhealth.com with a UR. So make sure you reach out to me. And I'm also looking for sponsors. And I also offer the business spotlight, where you get to spotlight your business on all my platforms. I'm running a special right now, so you want to reach out to me for that. And so that's about it. I am just really excited for my guest tonight, who's overcome cancer and been dealing with cancer, and so much more. So I'm really excited for my guest. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Nicole Badger is an American actress. She's a motivational speaker. She's a model and a writer. She is an end-stage 4 cancer survivor, which that alone to me just blows me away. Her goal is to inspire and encourage people with her testimony of tragedy to triumph. And she brings hope to the hopeless. I love that.
Yeah.
So we welcome Nicole to the show. Welcome, Nicole. Thank you so much for being on tonight.
Wow, thank you so much, Paula. I really appreciate it. I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you. So Nicole, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? Do you have family, brothers, sisters, children? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I live in Maryland now, but I'm actually from Brooklyn, New York, where I was born. I actually miss it, because I love White Castle. I haven't had White Castle in I don't know how long, so I am really missing it. I just love everything about New York. I mean, except for the fact they really never sleep, and that don't work for me as somebody who needs naps. But that's, I am someone who I would say been through a lot. I feel like as someone who at 20 years old, I was diagnosed with end stage 4 lymphoma cancer.
Wow.
I was given 2 days to live. Yes, that was it. The doctors did not want to work on me. They told me in 2005 when I'm not going to make it. They actually told my mom, who passed away in 2016. Her name was Felicia Bonner. They told her we're not going to work on her. No one survives the end of stage 4. So my mom had to really, really fight on them to get them to work on me. So I did, chemo, radiation, surgeries, and by the grace of God, this year, June 14th, I celebrated 17 years cancer free. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Look at God. Look at God. So
Yeah.
I've been through that. I have done so much acting. I did some acting in movies, TV shows, and plays, which I love. And then I got into modeling. Now, I have to be honest, the modeling is it for me. I love it now. I just got, because I grew so much in my confidence, of really believing I'm beautiful, even with all my scars. So I actually love it. And then also now I'm an inspirational speaker, so I get to share my story to help encourage people. And of course, I love to dance. Like that is my thing. Like just
Mm.
music and dancing at home and doing my little mini fashion shows at home. That is it for me. And of course, watching my favorite movies and TV shows.
Wow. So
Yeah.
let's back up a little bit. So you said you were 20.
Mm-hmm.
You were diagnosed with cancer. What
Mm-hmm.
were some of the symptoms? What tell us, I mean, from like the get-go, like what were some of the symptoms? Or you experienced pain? Um, how did they discover it? And then let's go down that emotional road. Like what happened after you discovered it. So give us point by point what happened.
So 2004, October 2004, my uncle Michael Youngblood got killed by his off and on girlfriend. That really did a lot for me because like, and what I mean emotionally, like because he was my favorite uncle, I loved him so much. So the doctors call it a nervous breakdown. Like I was just so devastated by his loss. And I remember the first symptoms was my mood. I I'm not a type of person that get upset easily. I'm very calm. I'm human like everybody else, but I remember I just started getting mad easily. Like little things used to just make me very mad. So my mom knew something was off, but we didn't think like, okay, my mom just thought maybe she's still grieving. So around, I want to say December, January, that's when the physical symptoms started. I started getting very, very weak. Like I couldn't even stand up long enough to let somebody open the door.
Mm.
We did go to the doctor immediately when that happened, and they said, well, we don't know because they did the test. They said we don't see anything.
Mm.
So then it went from that to I couldn't even really eat anything. I couldn't keep anything down. I was nauseated all the time, was throwing up all the time. We went back to the doctors and they took tests. They said, yep, we still don't see anything. Then, of course, I started getting these headaches. I mean, the headaches were so bad. I was popping Tylenol, Excedrin, Advil, and nothing. Like 5 minutes, if that. That was the only relief I would get. So of course we still went back to the doctors. They said we don't know what's going on. Finally, around towards May, that's when this tumor grew on the right side of my neck. And of course, we went back to the doctor. They did all these scans and all the tests, and they still said, could be an infection. They played all of this on a nervous breakdown, basically what they were saying. They was like, because we don't
Mm.
thing. My mom didn't know what to think at this point because if you believe the doctors, she's like, okay, I know my daughter wouldn't act out like this, but the doctor's saying nothing not wrong. So my mom didn't know what to do. And we kept going to different doctors. It wasn't just one doctor. We was going to different doctors and everybody kept saying they didn't see anything. So finally in June, I woke up and I was like, I can't move. Like God told me to tell my mom I couldn't move. And I remember like, God, I don't know if she's gonna believe that. You do remember I used to play this at school. But then I was like, no, she's going to believe you. And my mom told me she believed me because when she looked at me, I was pale. I looked like I was dead. So when she called 911, we still don't understand what happened because I only think I remember it's a little glimpse of saying I'm in pain, and the doctor saying we're about to give you something and take a scan. When I woke up, it's like hours later, and now my mom is in a hospital bed next to me crying. I'm like, why is she in the hospital bed? No, wrong with her. And then I ended up finding out that she already knew by this point, her and my uncle, what happened. So the doctor comes in the room and says, Nicole, you have in stage 4 lymphoma cancer and you're going to die in 2 days. And he knocked me back out. That was it.
My God.
That's all I got.
Wow.
Yeah,
And you're 20.
20. And
Mm.
it was a lot because when I did woke up, by this time it's nighttime when I woke up again. And I remember saying, what did he say to me? And she was like, calm down, you're not gonna die. I said, no, Ma, he said I'm going to die. And she's like, you're not gonna die, it's gonna be okay. But at this moment, it was a lot for me because I'm like, what is happening? And I make up this joke because sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying. So you gotta find funny moments when you're going through some tough times. So they end up flying me from one hospital to Georgetown. So when we got to Georgetown, this is when Georgetown, and we make a joke how if you see all these doctors, you about to die. Because it was like almost 10, 11 of them in the room. And they're sitting there telling me, listen, we're just going to give you medicine to die because it's nothing we could do. You at
Mm.
the end of stage 4. There's only 4 stages of lymphoma you can get. You at the end of it. No one survives the end of it, you know? And so now I'm trying to process this in my head. I'm 20 years old. You know, I graduated still in high school with honors. You know, my major was computer information. I had this goal and dream to have a government job. I thought by at least 26, I had my 6-bedroom house, my 2 cars, my husband, and my child. And now here I am, 20 years old, being told I got 2 days. It was
Mm.
emotionally a lot for me and my mom.
Wow. So let's back up a little bit. You said that very fast.
Yeah.
You were getting out of high school. You wanted to have a government job. You wanted to have kids by the time you were 26, right? Yeah. So, I mean, just imagine, for people listening,
Yeah.
let's slow it down a little bit. You're 20 years old.
Hmm.
You think you have your whole life ahead of you.
Yes.
Some doctor tells you you have 2 days. That's
Hmm.
mind blowing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot because no one, when you're growing up, right? You know, when you're a kid, they teach you, look both ways before you cross the street. You know, no one really give us the examples of like, hey, you might have all these goals, you might live right, but life might happen. So I'm taught, as a lot of us, if you do the right things, and you work towards what you want, it will happen for you most likely. It might take a little, got a little like path direction, that might slip a little bit away from what you want, but you eventually will get there. It won't, nothing major will really block you. So
right.
to now know this is what's happening, it was hard to process. I didn't know what to feel, like what
Yeah.
to think. I didn't know I was like trying to ask my mom, what do we do? And then I couldn't understand what she was going through. As a mom, you're about to lose your child. Now I have a brother, which is something that is great. So by my mom, it's just me and my brother. And because we have the same mom and same dad. But on my dad's side, it's like 26 of us that we know of because my dad was an older man. So all my brothers and sisters are older than my mom. So yeah, so think of it, they older
Oh,
than
wait.
my mom. So my nieces and nephews call me auntie, and I'm like, but y'all older than me. So weird. And
Oh my goodness.
this is something I never, and the thing about this, we didn't even know this. Like, because at the time, my mom only knew about 3. That's all my dad told her. So now when I'm about to die, of course, now you find out all this stuff. So now I find out all these siblings. To this day, I only met in person 4 of them. It's because it's very hard to meet the rest of them. But that was just for me, like and this came later because we had to get at the point of my mom, and she tried to shield me from the first 2 days. So while she was arguing with the doctors and the board members, and at that time I didn't even know what all of this was about. You know, I do remember the third day, the doctors pretty much like, oh, her body's fighting to live. That's all we got. It still wasn't anything like, oh, well, maybe she might make it. No, they was like, yeah, she's trying to fight, but she ain't gonna last. Like, I didn't meet
Wow.
doctors that was interested in trying to save my life.
And you know what's even more interesting now that I think about it? You said so you were in New York when this happened?
No, I was here in Maryland.
Okay, it was Maryland. I was gonna say because New York has some of the best hospitals, kind of like where I'm
Mm-hmm.
from Central Mass or Boston area. Those are the best hospitals. So you were in Maryland when that happened.
Yes, yeah. So I was in Georgetown for the first year, which I believe, I believe God does things for a reason because
Absolutely.
when the year was up, the doctors came to my hospital room and said, listen, we did it your way. All we did was made it worse. She's still going to die. So they told my mom they're going to transfer me to University of Maryland Hospital so I can die more comfortable over there. That was literally their exact words to us. Like, how do you say that as because at this time now I'm 21. How do you tell that to someone at 21 years old? Oh, we're just sending you to another hospital so you can die more comfortable over there because we don't want you here no more.
Wow.
That was hard for me and my mom because we didn't know what to expect. But when I say that God knows what he was doing, when we got to this hospital, we met this oncologist named Dr. Edward Stotsville. And he was such an amazing doctor. He actually told my mom, listen, from what I've seen, I think she's going to die. But with God's help, I will do everything I can to try to save her life. And he did. Like, he didn't come
Wow.
in immediately rushing. You know how some doctors just rush with a plan? He didn't do that. He took his time. I felt like God was speaking to him. He knew what doctors to pick on his team. He knew what to do, what to do. 2 years later, that cancer free.
So wow. So you were diagnosed at 20, given
Yep.
2 days to live. They transferred you to another hospital
Mm-hmm.
and you got a decent doctor, thank
Yeah.
God.
Thank God.
And so you went through a whole like year or almost 2 years before you were cancer free.
Yeah, 3 years I had to suffer through chemo,
Oh wow.
radiations, two surgeries for my neck. The neck surgery was the second one was the hardest because I had this hole in the back of my neck and this tube suction thing, and it
Mm,
was so painful. And I remember the fear of like, oh my God, you could not accidentally lay on your back. And I mean, of course, we can't control our bodies when we sleep, but somehow my body never went on the back. It always stayed on the side. And my mom, I just watched her like try to deal with that because when we had the second neck surgery, something happened, and like they made a mistake. By them having to take a lot of bones and tissues out my neck, they had my neck pretty much dropped. So I had my chin was touching my actual chest. So it was so down. And my mom, the way she handled me was with so much grace. Like when I woke up, like she waited 2 days, I guess, to wait for the pain to ease up a little bit. And I remember the nurse being in the room. You could tell it was some medicine in a syringe. And she said, baby, I have to talk to you. I'm like, okay. And she said, so when they did your neck surgery, they had to, remove this. They had to put a plate in your neck. And because of that, you look different. And I'm like, different how? And she said, well, I'm going to show you, but mommy needs you to be calm. You cannot react to it. And I remember saying, okay, because at the time I still wasn't thinking like, how bad can it be, And then when I saw myself, I remember my words like it was yesterday. I was like, oh my God, Ma, just let me die. I can't live like this. Nope, I can't go in the world like this. Just let me die now. And she was like, baby, you have to come down. I said, no, mommy, this is it. I'm going to die. Just let me die now. And I remember them, she just, only thing I remember is her telling the nurse to go ahead and inject her, like to give me, you know, the medicine to relax me so I could go to sleep. And when I woke up, I was like, Mom, so I'm going to look like this? Because we know how the world is, right? The world does not care about what happened to you. Is the people are very judgmental. And I was thinking about I'm going to be teased and talked about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that was hard for me. I can't imagine looking like this in public. Like this was something, and it's crazy because at first, you know, to go back a little bit, when you do chemo, you know, you lose your hair. And all of us, no matter who you are, we all got something that we think is the best thing on our body. And for me, it was my hair. You know, I love my long hair. I was like, yep, it's my hair. I'm good. So I was like, no, chemo's not going to do that to me. So I remember when the doctor, you know, let us know again, like, listen, chemo is going to take out your hair. I was like, that's it. Not doing chemo. Nope, I'm good. And I remember my grandma said, we don't give a crap about your hair. We can get your hair back. We can get you back. And I was like, oh, grandma, you know you just said the D word with a Bible in your hand, right? She like, see what you made me do. But I just was like, I can't lose my hair. And the crazy thing about that is, and a lot of people who suffer through cancer know about this, everybody reacts different to chemo. So because a cousin came from New York to braid my hair, I didn't know that my hair started to fall out. So I thought I was still safe. So and by this time, I think I'm like 7 months in the hospital, and I'm not even allowed to be wheeled downstairs to see the gift shop. So I had to beg to go home. I said, I just want to go home. So they let me go home, and I don't know why but something was like, I just want my hair done, you know, but that's normal, right? You're 20 years old, you just want your hair. I said, Grandma, can you redo my hair? She said, sure, baby, I'm done. And then as she started to, she didn't even get to unbraid the hair. So when she touched it in clumps, it just came out in clumps. And I remember just screaming and crying. My mom runs in my room, and I had to be rushed back to the hospital because I made my own so sick.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, so let's back up a little. I mean, so how long so you in the hospital for 7 months?
For the first time after we found out my diagnosis and they let me go home that one time. And it was like you know how like when you seeing things for the first time again, it was like a new experience. Everything looked so different because all I saw for 7 months was this. So basically for 3 years straight, I was pretty much in the hospital for 3 years.
Wow. You're 20 years old, your whole life ahead of you, and you spent like 3 years of your life
Mm-hmm.
in the hospital. Not back and forth to doctors, not back and forth to the hospital,
Right.
in the hospital.
In the hospital.
Lord. Wow.
Yeah.
And you know, that just makes me think too, the expenses alone must have been tough. And
And
for the
his
insurance, but
no, we could talk about that because I think this is something a lot of people need to know. My birth father died when I was 4. So
mm,
I was actually getting survivor's benefits up until I was 18.
okay.
So in 2003, my survivor's benefits stopped because now I graduated high school and 18 is over. So I think this is also a conversation that I think a lot of people need to talk to their kids about at 16 and 17, when this conversation need to happen between parents and kids. Like, listen, when you turn 18, you offer your parents insurance. So we need to work on getting you insurance because we don't know what happens in life, you know. But a
Right.
lot of parents, of course, they don't want to think that nothing happened to their kids.
Mm,
So I didn't have insurance. So there was no insurance when I was going back to the fourth to the doctors when my symptoms started, my dad who raised me was paying out of pocket. So
wow.
that just for that alone. So then once we did find out now it's cancer, and you know the hospitals they don't wait. They let you know the first day I was in there cost them almost $20,000.
Oh
just
my Lord.
unknown because of all the machines they had to do to keep me alive, the medicine, it was a lot. So I remember my mom having, oh my God, I wish my mom was here to tell this story because the way she had to sometimes emotionally pull herself apart to handle business at time, she immediately went to Social Security. So this happened in June. By I want to say the middle of July, we got Social Security back on. But from June to July, he had to pay all that money.
Mm,
Yeah,
my, wow. And so by the grace of God that was provided for.
yeah, yeah.
Mm, wow. Your family, you and your family went through it. I mean, you must have had a good, decent dad, to help you.
You know, I would say this because we would need 20 more interviews. My dad was a great provider. I think he did well when he could, but as a man per se, he was not a good man. But provider was, yes, you'll say he was definitely great. And he tried his best to be the dad he could be. I think even I would say my dad played the role as, if I can explain it, I would say he was more of the dad, like, I'm gonna do whatever my daughter wants. So he actually helped me plan my funeral because I planned it, because I didn't think I was going to survive. My mom did not want to help me at all. She's like, nope, I'm not helping you, because she believed I was going to make it. I didn't. I was. And here's the thing, we don't talk about a lot of diseases. And back, this was in 2005. A lot of things back then was only diabetes, and heart. You didn't really hear about cancer. The only reason why I knew about cancer was because of Lifetime movies. I saw these Lifetime movies about cancer, and the thing about it, all of them died. Now, one of these people lived. That's
Mm,
actually how I found out about Make a Wish, because I never even heard of Make a Wish. And the minute I saw that movie about Make a Wish, I remember going back downstairs to my dad, say, "Hey, Dad, we need to donate to Make a Wish." He's like, "What's a Make a Wish?" And I said, "Okay, I gotta tell you real quick because it's a commercial. Remember, this is like 2003. I think DVR was probably just starting, at this time." And I was like, "It's about you. So if you're gonna die, they give you what you want, but you only get one wish. Okay, gotta go." And then of course we actually talked about it, not knowing 2 years later I'm going to need Make a Wish.
wow.
And that's up 2 years. And the thing is, my mama threw them out the room 3 times. So I never got to get my Make a Wish because she wouldn't allow them to do it. She was like, "No, my child is going to live. So don't come back in here for the." So they wouldn't do it. Because she wouldn't allow it. She's like, "Nope, my child is not doing no Make a Wish because she's going to live." I wanted to do it because I thought I was going to die, but she refused it.
Mm. I
Yeah.
have a friend. He actually runs campaigns for Make a Wish. He
Wow.
like yeah, like he'll host it. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, we have to get.
Yeah, he's in Massachusetts. His name is Bill Murphy. He's
Uh-huh.
he's just an incredible man. He's just wrote a book. What's it called? Thriving into the Storm. He does all these like races and everything, and but one of his big things is Make a Wish. He's always running campaigns for Make a Wish. He's like it's a big thing for him. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely gonna have to connect later because I've been trying to figure out how to connect with Make a Wish because I would like to, help people, and would not just Make a Wish, but for the Cancer Foundation and share my story because one thing I didn't like when I was in a hospital, all the volunteers that they have to come and sit with us was basically getting us comfortable to die. None of them was really giving us the option. So, what do you might want to do if you did live? None of that. And I couldn't understand that. I was like, I want to do different. I want to give people hope. And so I wanted to visit hospitals. I wanted to be affiliated with Make a Wish because what a lot of people don't understand from the outside looking in, you think it's so simple. But what people don't understand, you allow 3 choices, and they Make a Wish give you 3 choices because just in case they can't do one, they try to do the other. But
Right. Right.
imagine the emotional toll behind that because when you make a wish come calling, you're about to die. That's the only reason why they're giving it to you. So they trying
Right.
to do your last final thing you want to do, place you want to go, person you wanted to meet before you die. That's a lot. to do, because I don't care how old you are. There's so many things you want to do. There's so many places you want to go, people you want to meet. And now here you are having to choose. It's hard.
And I want to say too, it must have been like a real emotional roller coaster ride, because you went from 2 days,
Yeah.
now all of a sudden, I don't know, a month goes by, another month. So you're probably at one point in time, your mind, because of their mind, is making you think any day now, I'm just gonna go any day.
Yes.
And little by little, you were surviving. So like, when did your mindset start to change? Like, hey, maybe I am gonna beat this thing. I mean, you had to have some kind of turning point.
Honestly, what is so crazy about that, it did not shift until 3 years later.
Yeah.
And the
Cause
reason why, because I was on borrowed time.
right.
So, and I kept going back to them Lifetime movies. Like, no, I'm not, I don't need, I'm just on borrowed time. For some reason, my body wants to fight, but I'm going to that. I'm going to that. It wasn't until the third year, which is when they came to us and said, we think we see something in your lungs. And if it spread it to your lungs, you're going to die. For some reason, I don't know what it was, but something was like, okay, maybe I need to get in the fighting mode. I don't know why it took 3 years to have this moment,
Well,
but
you were young.
that's when I
Yeah.
had this moment. And I just prayed out to God, and I was like, okay, God, listen, okay, my mama needs me. You know, my brother needs my dad. There's things I want to do, God. You cannot take me. And I remember praying so loud and crying so loud that they had to knock me out. And I remember that moment. Now we're like 2 weeks, I want to say maybe a week or two later, and this is when they come back with the results. And they are like looking at us crazy. And me and my mom looking at each other like, okay, is this good or bad? So the doctor said, we don't want to tell you something yet. Just give us a couple of more hours. So we didn't know what was happening. They contacted a couple of hours later and said, okay, we don't know what happened, but it didn't spread to your lungs. I'm like, okay, but that's a good thing, right? They say, yeah, but the thing is your cancer is gone.
Woo!
So we're like happy, but at the same time, they're not happy. So we couldn't understand why we happy, but you're not happy. And kind of find out they like, there's no scientific way that this should have happened like this. So they actually kept me in a house in the hospital almost 4 months late, 4 months more, just to confirm my cancer was gone.
Hallelujah.
Yes, you can't tell me it's not a God.
Yeah. And that was going to be my next question. When did prayer start coming in, and when did you start? And you just answered it before I even asked it.
Yeah. Well, I always been a prayer because I grew up in church. Like
Yeah.
my mom and grandmothers made sure I stayed in church. And my dad actually is the one that told me I had this anointed over my life. And
Mm,
I think I might have been like, maybe I want to say maybe 13 or 14. And I remember saying, Dad, I don't even really know what this means. He said, yeah, I know. But he said, because of your anointing that you have, Satan is going to attack you the most. And I
right.
was like, okay, because you're young, you don't really know what this means. But then okay, so I'm gonna go a little back a little bit. I was raped from 6 to 12 years.
Ooh.
From 6 to 12 years old, I was raped by my cousin.
Oh my Lord.
And now I'm 14, 13, 14 when he tells me that. Even at that moment, for some reason, I don't know if it's because I was still processing everything that happened. I didn't even think about like maybe that's what one of the things Satan was going to do. It wasn't until the cancer came up that conversation came back to me, and I was like, so this is why Satan is attacking me, you know. But that was something that I think a lot of too, to go a little backwards. I even going to church and praying, I didn't understand at that time, why would God let this happen? You know, I didn't understand that. Like that was something I struggled with. Like, okay, if you keep hearing about how great God is and all of this. Why would God let this happen to me? He's not doing nothing to stop it, you know. And when I finally got the courage to tell, I felt so defeated in a way, you know, because I felt like my mom at that time didn't really want me to talk about it. So it's like you had to hit it, you know, because it's
Yep.
like this family what goes in out, stays in out. So I had to shut it down. Like I had to shut my emotions. I remember people who knew me all them years didn't even find out about it until I was like in my late 20s. And they was like, what? That happened? I'm like, see, this is family secret stuff. You know, I had to hold it in. But it took that long to start telling people my story about
And
that.
when you think about it, all our emotions are our illnesses.
Yeah,
So all those emotions that you were hiding, and that manifested into the cancer.
it had to because
Yeah,
I was not able to be my true self.
right.
Yeah,
So for anybody listening, we don't enforce any illness on ourselves consciously. We just
right.
don't. But when you suppress things, your emotions come out in illness.
Yeah.
And so for you, it was, yeah, it was the cancer because of what you went through.
And I think it's just so much because if you fast forward a little bit to years later, this is when I found out about mental illness. Again, this is something that's not always talked about.
Mm-mm.
We're not taught. It's in the community. You talk to a therapist. It's very like, no, don't you do that type thing. So for years I never got therapy. So I was dealing with this depression for years.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to die. And it's crazy because I never felt like this before cancer. I grew up like even with being raped for 6 years, I was still a happy child. You know, I thought I had a good childhood besides that. So I never thought about committing suicide. To be honest, I was one of those people who was uneducated because you didn't. I thought I couldn't understand how can you believe in God and want to kill yourself. Like I couldn't understand because if your life is going good, of course you're gonna think like that. But people don't understand. You never know what happens to you and what takes a toll on you. And
Yeah.
just to know that me and my mom was two sick people, she was dealing with blindness, congestive heart failure, kidney failure, and she was on dialysis. So and she was outgoing, you know. So
Wow.
when you have two sick people, one who's outgoing, who had all this life going for her, the life that I wanted to have, and we're stuck. And it's something we didn't even realize happened until I didn't see the therapist till after she passed away. Um,
Mm.
but we end up finding out that when you become disabled, you lose family and friends.
Yeah.
And I'm 39 right now, and it still strikes me to when I was growing up, I was surrounded by so much family, like all everywhere, like friends all the time. And I grew up where every holiday we didn't know who house to go to. That's how much family and friends we had. But when me and my mom got sick, it was like the family all left us. The friends left us. So it was
Mm-hmm.
just me and her on holidays. No one now my mom been gone since 2016 and it's just me. I'm by myself on holidays, you know. I don't have no one spend a holiday, and it's because all my family turned on me. You know, like you're not worthy, you're disabled. But by the grace of God, I do have a few people in my life, you know, which we will get into a little bit later, who has God has put in my life, you know, to be a blessing. But at the time, it was just me and my mom.
Mm.
And the depression was so bad. And I used to cry out for help in not a healthy way. You know, like I used to cry on social media. I'm in so much pain. I lived in physical pain every day.
Mm.
And no matter what I did, it was physical pain. And all it did was got people to misunderstand who I am as a person. They thought, oh, you want attention, you want a pity party, you
Mm.
complaining. That's not who I am. And now we in 2024, and I don't even want to even ask about prayers because it's that fear of now I'm going to be misunderstood again, you know. So I don't want to talk. I don't mention I'm in pain, nothing. So I show people what they want to see. If all you want to see is my acting, my modeling, or my speaking, that's what I'm going to show you because apparently you don't want to see the real side of it. So sometimes I don't feel like I'm authentic.
Yeah. But it's been a hard road for you. That's for sure. I will say this though. I'm by myself too, so if you want to come to Lake Norman and visit on the holidays, I'm open.
Well, see, we gotta connect because you never know what you can do for each other,
Yep.
And sometimes, especially when you lose a loved one, the holidays are the worst,
Mhm.
because you think about them so much. You think about them all the time. When you grieving someone, it's hard, but the holidays are the worst. The birthdays are always the worst, but somehow I have for years learned to, how do you say, adapt to it, because I can't change it. I can't
Right.
force anything. So this is why I always wanted to inspire people, that all of us, because it's a misconception that people have about people with disabilities, whether it's physical or mental. They just think, oh, they just want attention. And we really don't. We just want to be treated normal. Because I'm the same person I was before cancer. I just look different, you know, and I have disabilities, but I'm still the same person. I love to laugh, love to dance, love her movies, and same person.
I will say this, so every year I always do a show about not just cancer, but like a lot of people with Lyme disease, like you say, they have disabilities and
Mm-hmm.
also have some mental health issues.
Yeah.
Always address that factor. Like some of them, when the holidays come around and it's just around the corner, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, if they celebrate, some people may not want to be around anybody. They
Mm-hmm.
have anxiety, it makes them too anxious.
Yeah.
Just give them compassion if that's
Yeah.
their thing. If they don't, don't be like, oh, you have to come, you have to do this, you have to do it.
Right.
Or they're anxious because they can't eat certain foods. They're afraid of the
Right.
reaction. You know,
Mm-hmm.
totally get it. I've been there. You know, or some of them get like OCD type stuff.
Yeah.
Very things have to be a certain way. The wheels are spinning.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get mad at them. Just
Right.
have some compassion, deal with it. If,
Mm-hmm.
they have to have a certain kind of food and what, I don't know, whatever it is, if they're
Yeah.
it might be an illness. And
Yeah.
usually the key factor is if they have other issues going on. Do they have joint pain and
Right.
stomach problems and things like that, headaches?
Right.
Those are some key factors. If they've got other stuff going on and they are a little bit OCD, that's the illness.
Right.
Judge them, just give them compassion. If they have to have the living room set up a certain way, if they have to have certain types of food, they have to, whatever it is,
Right.
don't argue with them. Just,
Right.
it's one day.
It's one day, and it's like if you can't
Love
handle
on them.
it,
Yeah.
then something's wrong with you,
Yep.
because one thing about me, like I have congestive heart failure now. I have a defibrillator now. I have so many. I joke about. I have so many health issues. It's easy to tell you what I don't got,
Oh
because
boy.
cancer and radiation did so much. Chemo did so much damage to my body. I got PCOS, thyroid disease, like just
Yeah.
so much. And I'm 39. Most people 80 years old ain't got these many health issues.
My goodness.
But it's what I have to live with, and I live with pain every single, like even sitting up. And this is something I used to love doing, sitting up, running and jump. When I sit or stand for more than 5 or 10 minutes, my neck and my back hurt like crap. Even we just talking, we having a good time. My neck and back hurt so bad. It
Oh,
is so
that's
painful. Like this is my story now.
wow.
Yeah, this is my story. And the sad thing about it is, and I'm pretty sure because you're in this, talking about this stuff, so I'm pretty sure other people that tell you about this. A lot of people don't understand when you try to live, like to have some type of life, some people don't know what they want for you. For an example, I am an actress, I'm a model, I'm a speaker. And if you listen to some people, well, if she's acting, she's modeling, she can't be that bad. Like her, what? Like I have, every time I have done, let me see, I want to say I started acting 2009. Every play, movie, TV show, fashion show, speaking gig, everything, I went to hospital immediately after. My neck will open up and get infected
Oh my God.
single time. I done caught MRSA so many times. I almost died from MRSA a couple of times. Instead of like people don't. So obviously, I can't. make, do that, it's because it's too much physical activity. I was told never act, never model, but I'm trying to do something with my life. I am not even able to work. I am fully disabled, not supposed to work at all. I can't even work at all. I tried anything you think, I cannot do it. And for some people, they go, oh, well, she's young. How bad can she be? She can walk, so how bad she can be. So a lot of times you get that from people. And then if I wasn't doing anything, then some people be like, I don't understand. Why can't you work? I don't even have people who's my family, friends, strangers say, I don't get it. I've seen people paralyzed work. People with one limb work, people blind work. Why you can't work? And
Mm,
feel like you owe someone an explanation. I'm still trying to figure out that I don't owe nobody no explanation.
no.
And what I realize is the people who really love me would never say that to me, and they don't. Because if anything, they be like, girl, I triple dare you do another movie. They be like, I triple dare you, because you just making it worse. But you get that, and you have to deal with that, because some people just are not compassionate enough to understand disability look different.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's pivot a little bit. So tell us about, how did you get into acting? Like, what kind of movies have you done? Are you on YouTube? Are you on Tubi? What's happening?
Well, no, I did a TV show on YouTube called Toll Booth. So I did that. I did London and James. That's actually on Amazon. I have did some stage plays. I did TV one for my woman. I did Copycat Killers. The funny thing about that, when I filmed it, they would had to reshoot it, but I was in the hospital. So I didn't get to reshoot. So I got paid for it, but I wasn't able to actually be in it. So I was upset about
Oh,
that. But how I got into acting was actually, I want to say maybe you can look at it by accident, or you say that's what God was showing you for a little while, this is what you need to be. When my cancer went away, my mom was like, listen, you're not just going to lay up here and die. So you need to do something. So I need you to get back into your writing, because I've been writing songs and plays since I was 13 years old.
Jesus.
Yes, and I love it. It's so, oh my God, I think it just makes me feel like I'm bringing stories to life, even in my songs. Like I just want to bring joy. So I started writing. And the first play I wrote after my cancer was basically about what my journey through cancer. So me and my mom went to audition for it, and this guy was there auditioning for his movie. So him and my mom got to talking. So he said, "You want to audition for my movie?" And I was like, no, because I'm too ugly now. And then they're like, you are not ugly. So he's like, just go and audition. So I went and auditioned for it. Of course, I thought I wasn't going to get the role. But then he calls me and say, you got the role. But then I wasn't able to do it. So
Oh,
I felt like that was just a moment that God wanted me to know this is what he wanted me to be for a while.
mm,
So then when I went to my new church, the lady there, Reverend Melanie Beth, she asked me, did I want to be in her play? And I was like, okay, cool, I'll do it. But then when I read the character, it was about me teasing a homeless person. And I didn't want to do it because me and my mom just came from being homeless. So
mm,
my mom had to teach me that remember, this is just a character. This is not you. But I didn't really want to do it,
I
because
can.
it was too much, right? Don't you think it's like a little bit? It was that toll of like I was just homeless, mom. We were just homeless, but we didn't sleep in the street by the grace of God. But we was going place to place, and you
Mm,
could tell no one really wanted you there. Which is my when my second rape happened, and staying with somebody and being homeless, and I just didn't want to go through that. But she really was like, maybe this might help you in a way by just doing this. And I did it and I loved it.
mm,
I was able to keep doing plays. The bad thing about it is, unfortunately, a lot of directors did not want to give me an opportunity because of what I look like. At the time, I got told, well, when you get your teeth fixed and your neck fixed, then come to auditions. I got told, why are you even auditioning looking like
oh, my
that?
goodness.
I heard that a lot. And then when I had to get on my teeth removed because of the damage from radiation, I started auditioning again, and I got people telling me, why would you even try to audition with no teeth in your mouth, in your neck? Like, no one wants you like that.
Mm.
So when you hear stuff like that, it really brings you down. But I kept hearing my mama voice, keep going. Because directors who really see you for your gift and your talent was not going to care, and you're beautiful just the way you are, and you will inspire other disabled people. So I kept going. So I done, the movie London and James, and that was fun for me. To be honest with you, that was the first time technically I've been to a club because I've never been to a club my whole entire life. I
Wow.
never drunk alcohol. I never smoked my whole entire life. So it was interesting. I was like, how do y'all people drink and dance at the same time? Like, how they do it? I was like, come on, guys. It's like, how do you hold this cup and dance? Like, somebody help me. This cup about to fall. But I made it through. I made it through. And it was a very fun experience. And for me, acting brings me joy,
Mm.
especially when I was in a dark place, because it was like for whatever it was, minutes or whatever, I was able to not be myself. So I loved it. I really did. But then, as we know, when COVID happened, everything shut down.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I tell people COVID saved my life. And when I tell people that, they be like, okay, how in the world can COVID save your life when COVID was taking so many people? The
Yeah.
reason why is because when everything shut down, now I'm not doing anything. So now my heart was able to show me something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I ended up finding out about my heart condition. So that was a lot. So when COVID ended, I want to say I had my shoulder replacement surgery in 2021. I want to say 2022 is when I got the option to do my first fashion show.
Nice.
And I loved it. Oh my God. I was so nervous because I think modeling is harder than acting, which is kind of weird because I feel like it's more attention on you. You got to make sure you don't fall, especially when you
Mm-hmm.
have balance issues. I was scared, but I can't do heels, so I had my flats on, but I was so amazing. Everybody loved me. And then I was like, oh, I loved it. So then I wanted to just do it all the time. So that was for me. And then the end of 22 is when I did my first speaking gig.
Mm-hmm.
And that was for me where I knew that's what God really wanted me, because the way I was able to inspire
Yeah.
people, and change their life. And I'm not saying we don't change life as an actress and, and a model, because we do, but it's something about sharing your story. You able to reach the unreachable. Sometimes people can listen to you in ways they probably won't listen to anyone else. When you're able to come down to their level in a way when you can say, I'm just like you. I mean, you might see me laughing and smiling and doing all this, but I'm just like you. I go home and have days when I got to cry and scream out to God and be like, God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just like you. And I've been through what you've been through. And I'm just telling you this, but not as judging you, because I want you to do better. I want you to be better. I want you to overcome. That to me brings me so much joy.
So let me ask you this. We only have a couple more minutes, but let me ask you this. Have you written or done, because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
You have your own Lifetime movie.
Right.
Have
Yes.
you done your own movie yet?
I've done my own play. I started writing my book. I just got to finish it.
Well,
Yeah.
I just helped another woman that was on my show.
Mm-hmm.
She said the same thing. She said, I got to finish my book. So I just helped her get her book out there. It's actually coming out tomorrow. It's I Am Born to Win, which if this is a replay, then it would be, what's today? Actually, it's coming out the 30th, August.
Okay.
So if you watch the replay, it's August 30th. So it might be already out by the time you watch the replay. But
Mm-hmm.
it's called I'm Born to Win. She went through a lot of stuff, but she too already started her book and had it all like ready. So I hooked her up with somebody who did my book. We did our anthology called Generation. Oh gosh, I can't even Activate Your Faith. Witness
Mm-hmm.
Generational Turnaround is the name of it. So
Wow.
that's We did. It was an anthology with other women and another guy in there.
Mm.
People with strokes. They had one person had an airplane crash. Yeah, all kinds of stuff in there. That's the book we did, but Judy helped us get that book together. So from something just God just said, connect with Judy. And
Mm-hmm.
so I connected Judy to Shalandra. So her book is getting out there. So if you want me to connect you to Judy,
Yes.
let me know and we can get your book out there. But yeah, just like her, both of you, I said it to her too. I'm like, you guys have your own, like a movie is, but you especially, oh my Lord. Like, you're like, I used to watch Lifetime. I'm like, but you are a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That's
are.
what
I
I
mean,
talk about.
you could probably have like more than one even because
Yeah,
you've got the whole childhood of being raped and all of that. And I'm sure you've only touched on that.
exactly.
And then you've got the whole having cancer and dealing with that whole thing. So you probably have two movies if you ask me.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Part one and part two.
Yeah, there you go. So whoever's listening, if you're a movie concierge, we need your help to help her get her movie out. But I have also connections too with that. So
Okay.
if nobody's listening that can help, I've got connections.
Well,
God
thank you.
uses me to connect. But in the last few minutes,
Mm-hmm.
tell people what you're doing now. How can we help you? Is there anything in business we can help you with? How can people reach you if they have questions? All of that. And if you have anything available.
Well, right now, if you want to reach me, you can go to my Facebook, Nicole Nikki Badger. You can also go to my website, Nicole the Survivor wixsite.com/Nicole Badger. Right now, I'm just modeling. I'm being the inspirational speaker. You
Okay.
know, that's all I'm doing right now, and just pretty much enjoying myself. It's which
Okay.
I would want you guys to do. Whatever you're going through in life, just to find something to enjoy yourself. And I don't care what it is. Watch your favorite movie, your favorite show, listen to your favorite songs, play games. Who cares? Just have fun and enjoy yourself, because that's all that really matters. And stay with God. You know, no, don't ever let God. Let
Yeah.
God be your number one, number two. And believe me, God will bring people in your life that will be such a blessing to you. And just
Yep.
stay with those people, because God has he brought me other people, but I would definitely say my auntie Angel Briggs fan and my awesome friend Manjura Solomon are so amazing to me, and they has been there for me in ways I can't even begin to tell you, but that's all God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
End of that. Yeah, I agree. God has helped me with so many things, and I'll just leave people on this note. I say it all the time. I started a walking club. It's a virtual walking club. It's called Order My Steps. And I'll be honest, with summer being so hot and everything, all of us kind of, including me, we haven't been walking as much. But we are going to get going again. I'm excited to get going again. So if anybody wants to join, what I encourage people to do is pray and walk.
Yes.
But always get on and I talk about, like, we are able, we have two legs, we're able to walk. Don't take that for granted.
No.
You never know what tomorrow will bring.
That's right.
Like Shalandra that I was just telling you about, she was hit by an 18-wheeler just going to work one day.
Oh my goodness.
You never know what can happen. My dad was taken out. He was just hit by a van. So, he was gone. But some people could get hit. Now you can't walk tomorrow. Don't take your body for granted.
Granted.
Get it. If you can walk, get out and walk, even if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. And I feel like God's been leading us to pray more, obviously, because He's given us instructions, what to pray about. So every now and then I'll do a video, quick video. Hey guys, this is what's happening. Of course, you should connect to God and listen to what He's telling you, but here's some suggestions. This is what's going on in the world. Pray about this, your region, your land, your job, whatever, But of course, you pray to God too. He may lead you to pray for something in specific,
Right.
but yeah, that's why I did that group, and I'm always encouraging people, like I said, get off the couch.
Right.
One of the people in our book, the Activate Your Faith, Dr. Jonas Gadsden, he said, don't let your couch become a coffin. And I said, I'm going to use that.
Is that,
I'm,
and find something to help you walk, because sometimes it might seem boring because it's too quiet. We all got iPods now or MP3, but that's what I do, because especially if you're somebody, I walk with and without a walker. I call it my rollator Cadillac. You know, and what I do so I can walk outside and make it fun, I have my MP3 player on. And when you think about it, by the time you listen to music and join you, so you don't walk for like 20, 30 minutes without noticing. And so do whatever you can. But I feel like it's a peaceful journey too, because it gives you time to think and with that feel good of God here, and it's really good. So I could, no matter what it is, don't let your obstacles stop you. And that's basically what you're saying. Like, find something to do. Don't do it, because sometimes we let our obstacles keep us in this one little space. But do something. That's what you just said. When my mama told me years ago, you're not going to just lay up here and die.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
You're gonna do something. You healed, so you might not do all the stuff you want to do for your health, but you can do something. Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that. But Nicole, I wanted to say thank you for being on tonight. This was an amazing show. You're such an inspiration, motivation. You've got a movie in you, a book in you.
Thank you.
Yeah, people need to hear it. People need to see it, all of it, I'm looking forward to all of it coming out, just like Shalandra's just came out.
Yeah.
Too, I have no doubt. And just, one last thing for you is, whoever's listening, if you're looking for a motivational, inspirational speaker, you got some events coming up, please reach out to Nicole. She'd be a great speaker for your event.
Thank you.
And so with that, just wanted to remind everybody, I am looking for more people for the show, like Nicole, people that have gone through an illness, overcoming an illness. It can be emotional too. We've talked about addiction, all different things, or your practitioner, you've got clients that you've helped, whatever it might be, please reach out to me. Again, Instagram, Facebook Messenger. My email is info@enrichyourhealth.com. If you're listening, it's ENRICHURHALTH.com. I'm putting out more and more recipes. Follow me on social media. It's just my name on social media, Paula Denoncourt, DENONCOURT, if you're listening. And I just wanted to remind everybody one last thing. I also offer business funding, and we have a lot of other business resources. So if you're a business and you need some business funding or some other resources, reach out to me for that. So, and if you want to be in the business spotlight or sponsor for the show, let me know. So once again, thank you, Nicole, and we will see you next Sunday. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.